one of the key things in looking at the finances is that you talk about those finances with your son or daughter, that they realize what it costs nowadays, and because they're learning financial literacy for them and for the future. So some of the things to consider. Number one, there's tuition fees for university and college, and although the arts and science one is usually the least expensive, so it's around $5,800 this past year, plus other fees which you have to pay, ends up around $7,000 for arts and science. And that might be the same for arts and science at pretty well most of the universities in Ontario. However, once you go into some other fields like accounting or engineering or pre-med, you may be surprised to find it's much higher. So here's accounting for a Bachelor of Commerce at U of T, $13,000 plus book fees, our other fees, so it's $15,000. Yeah, that's quite a bit of change. College is, I would say, a pretty big deal in that you can take business at college, say at Seneca for $1,300 plus other fees, so it's under $1,800. And I think one option is students may take 2 years of college and then transfer to university. After 2 years, they have a diploma. They transfer to university, and maybe within 2 years, you may be able to earn a degree. May or may not. So you have to look very carefully at how much credit they will give for college credits when you make that transfer. Colleges also have degrees. They're more specialized. So for example, Seneca has international accounting and finance. Its tuition is around $8,000. To go to the college degree programs, you'll have to have 6 university prep or college university prep courses, just like a regular university application. Then you have to count money for books and supplies, and we'll talk a little bit about 30% off tuition. If a student is going to a college or university in Ontario, they can get 30% off their tuition, and they apply for it on the same form as the OSAP. We'll see that in a minute. So there are all these living costs that...
We go back to the previous slide.
Yeah.
On the college degree and the university, you said the international accounting coming in. So addition to the normal degree where they are getting in these colleges, you have the international body like, for instance, accounting, you have CGA, CMA, those additional designation.
Right.
So those also are they linked with the university to with the additional fee to get that designation?
Yeah.
Or is it linked with the university?
So the universities will prepare you for those particular designations, but those designations still require certain programs that they offer themselves that you have to pay for, and examinations before you get that designation.
Some of the courses that you can take in those international programs or in the regular.
Okay, so here's an interesting website. It's called Get Smart About Money, and you can put in name of university, name of program, and it comes out with some calculations for you. So for example, here's what it came out for business program. It said its tuition is $9,000, which is different from what I found for accounting, but books, or room or rent, food and all that. So this is if you're not living at home. Total cost could be around $25,000 per year. Living at home, save quite a bit. The room and rent is $0, and so it might be around $12,000. So those are important conversations to have with your son or daughter. So there are advantages of having them go someplace, and there are advantages of having them at home. So how do you pay for that? The first responsibility is usually for the parents to help out as much as they can. And so there are tools like RSPs, and you may have to take out a bank loan to pay for some of these things. However, the big thing you have to make sure that you make use of is the Ontario Student Assistance Program. in applying for the OSAP support, through this one central place, you access all the funding that's available federally and provincially, about 15 programs. So thank God you don't have to fill out 15 forms. And that's where you can just apply for the 30% off tuition, or automatically it'll be considered if you fill that out. And so what you do is you get how much, you will get a certain amount of money in loans and in bursaries, depending on the income of the parents. So if your income is below, I would say around $160,000, you will probably qualify for some loans and grants. The advantage of the loans from the OSAP program is you don't have to pay them back until you finish school or when you leave school. If you get a bank loan, you're paying interest right away. Here, you're not paying interest until you're done.
How does the grants work to the parents? For the grant, as you said, in the high school you had the scholarship, which I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
How does the grant work for the parents? How does the grant?
Yeah, so when they're calculating the amount that you will get in loans and bursaries, you have to enter the amount you're receiving in scholarships. So that may change.
How is this? Is it the same, the grants are similar to the scholarship, or is it a different one?
It's a different process, yeah.
How is these grants given by the university? How are they given to the student?
The grants given by universities and colleges, you have to apply. And they
Pardon the
have,
interruption, I'm not the 10-minute warning, I'm the warning that says you can go a little longer. Lunch isn't here yet, so feel free to stay 10 or 15 minutes longer.
thank you. Okay. So we'll be talking a little bit about bursaries and awards. For bursaries outside of the college and university, or even in for college universities, you have to apply. You have to show that you have a need, and usually you show that it's worth investing in the son or daughter because of their involvement or something else that they've done. And if it's a bursary, it means that you don't pay it back. And so we'll talk a little more about that. We'll give you some websites where you can get that.
So it says for OSAP, then it's all based on parental income?
Yes, combined income,
Pardon?
combined income.
So not property or anything like that?
Correct, just income. So basically, you have to enter certain lines from your tax return in the previous year.
If you have a property that you're renting, I think the rents count as income.
Okay, but if you're holding like investments like our RESP and our RSP, does that?
Yeah, the RSPs won't count. The RESPs, you will enter.
There's a
what
line
you've got.
for
Okay.
you to say how much and how much is being dispensed for the first year.
Okay.
Okay, so on this website, you can estimate how much you may qualify for OSAP. It also has a calculator of how much it will cost to pay it back, and you only pay back the loans. Good.
So, sorry, the access to 30% tuition off is
Yeah.
also part of the OSAP, right?
That's correct. Well, if you use the same form,
Oh,
and you
okay.
can,
Same
if
form
you,
is also subject to your parental income and all these things.
It's everything that it needs to know to calculate whether you're eligible for any.
the 30% is for only Ontario post-secondary colleges, universities. If your son or daughter is going to McGill or UBC, you would still apply for OSAP for support. Okay, this is yours.
Okay.